Right, in a sense, I always tell people, never go to the guy who's genetically blessed. You don't want to go to the guy who has 20-inch arms when they were in high school, because they don't know why they built their arms. Their arms grow responding to anything.
That's why I tell people, I said, it's not smart to hire black coaches. I straight out tell them. And they're like, and they ask me, they go, why? I said, you could throw any program at a black guy who has genetically gifted, and they could do anything, Dave, and look phenomenal. And it's true, and it's not racist. It's fucking true. And I wish I had their genetics, Dave, because if I had their genetics and I was willing to pump the drugs, because Dave, black guys, they don't like to take too many drugs, Dave. They're like, oh my God, 400 mgs of test, is that going to kill me? They're very paranoid people. So imagine if a guy was to take a crazy boatload amount of drugs, Dave.
They kicked Jimmy the Greek off the air for some of the stuff that you're saying.
Huh? So, and Dave, nobody knows what you're taking except yourself, okay?
Right.
I could be lying about what I take. He could be lying about what he takes. The only person that really knows is yourself. Nobody's holding my hand. Fuck, Ariella doesn't even know what I take. I go in my fucking steroid room and I just shoot a bunch of shit. She doesn't know what I'm taking. And Dave, this is the
steroid room. Bostin has a room, not a closet or a drawer, but he has a room in his house.
Yeah, because I want to keep it, all in the same room. But I'll give you an example, Dave. I was getting ready for a leg day a couple weeks ago, right? I have my steroid room. I have all my steroids. I have my there's injectable L-carnitine and injectable amino acids. I got my adrenaline, adenosine monophosphate and all this shit, right? I go in my room. I say, hey, I'm going to take 200 mgs of TNE, Tesno ester, which is basically test suspension, but in oil, right?
Yeah.
So I take 200 mgs of TNE before leg day. I shoot it in my calf, right? Mm-hmm. And then I look at the other drugs. I'm like, let me take some injectable branched chain amino acids. I pull out some injectable branched chain amino acids. I shoot my leg with injectable amino acids. Then I'm like, you know what? I still want to keep shooting shit because, I still have some time. I go and I some injectable arginine that I got from a company, right? So then I'm shooting that, right? And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to shoot some arginine, L-carnitine too. So I load up another 3cc syringe. I shoot some carnitine. Then I look at the adenosine monophosphate. And I'm like, I want to shoot that too. So I load that up and I shoot that in my vein. I end up going in that steroid room with the mindset of just shooting Tesno ester and walking out 5 minutes later. I end up staying in that room for 20 minutes shooting everything that I see, right?
My dad came to visit. After my dad left, I wasn't training. I weighed myself at 260. I said, you know what? I need to get this fucking fat off. I need to start from scratch.
Were you really fat, or were you just fat in your head fat?
No, more so bloated, Dave. Not fat. I was bloated.
Okay.
I was bloated. So, I just lowered the drugs drastically, meaning I'm taking, still, Tren, Masteron, but basically I brought the test down. And I started using an injectable DNP, Yohimbe, Clen, and phentermine combination.
Hold on. Now, who put this little concoction together? You did, or did
it's actually from? I'll give them a plug. It's from IA Super Pharma. They're from the Philippines. I've never seen it before, and they have two products. They have a one called the Nuke, that's injectable Clen and injectable DNP and Yohimbe, and then they have it's called Shake and Bake, which they add Yohimbe to that as well.
It sounds Boston, it sounds a little dangerous. Injectable DNP.
Yeah, so I'm probably one of the only crazy enough guys to try it. Even Tony Huge was scared to try it. He's like, I won't touch that shit. So it made me feel like complete. DNP in general, Dave. I get like the DNP poisoning the first week or so, or I'm on the urge of puking, but I needed to make myself suffer. Not because I knew if I made myself suffer and feel like shit, I know now I'm not going to fuck up on my diet, on my reverse diet. You know what I mean? So it's all done with. It was.
Now, I hear you're training people in China now. The Chinese people have reached out to you.
Two Chinese people now. So from Team China, that came from we know who. Yeah. I'll talk about it in my videos.
Well, Milos was training someone from China. He turned him pro. Is that part of the Milos crew there?
Well, Milos has a few of them, but they're really
everybody's sick of him. They're sick of him.
Oh,
Yeah, because of his response time.
Milos was living there for three months.
Okay.
So he probably charged him $500,000 for that.
Yeah, well, I think he tried to take on a team there and made him look soggy, so they're kind of pissed. I have a funny story before we do this. Phil Viz will laugh. So I went to see Phil Viz, and his buddy Luke was doing the pro show in Tampa.
Okay.
They had an Airbnb, and I like Phil. He's harmless, and he's very knowledgeable. He's very intellectually, he's very smart. But I think it's pointless. He has his client posing, and he's looking at him like this, and he's like, blood sugar, take your blood sugar. Takes his blood sugar, pose 15 minutes, and then Phil Viz is walking around looking at him. Take your blood sugar. He got him taking his blood sugar like every fucking 15 minutes, right? And I'm like, in my head, it's like, is that going to make a difference at the end of the day?
Probably not, yeah. Probably.
And it's like, all right, you're going to have him eat 10 jelly sticks or whatever with...
I for some reason knew that the Boston Loyd, the visit to the hospital, would turn into a drug roundtable, but thank you, Boston. It's always a pleasure to see you,
I shot
man.
some shit in there. Can you guys tell?
It's always a shame that I have to wait to go get operated on for Boston to come see me, but thanks for coming, Boston. And guys, I hope you enjoy our little shindig we had here, and hopefully I won't be back in any hospitals anytime soon. Dave Palumbo with Boston Loyd. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Can I ask you a question? Have you ever tried to IV inject growth hormone?
Dude, I've IV'd everything.
No.
I've been close to IVing trend suspension, test suspension. I've been this close to doing it, but I was like, I'll probably fucking die. But I'll tell you what, if somebody sent me micronized test suspension from an American pharmacy, like that you could use on an insulin needle, because the UGL stuff will clog a fucking... I'd be having to shoot my vein with an 18 gauge to get that shit through because it clogs. If I got micronized test suspension from a pharmacy in America, I would IV it 100%. Right before I walked into the gym, in my car, right before I stepped in, I'd IV that shit. And I'd probably get like that Eurofic high. You know, like the Eurofic?
Yeah.
That was the same feeling I got with the Nubane. Dude, imagine that, mixing Nubane and test suspension. Like, you use the Nubane to push the fucking test suspension through so you get all of the... That's what I would do. My OCD would be so bad. I'm like, how can I push everything through? I would just load it up with Nubane and get the rest of it in.
About EPO, are you going to use
I just got off of it.
Why?
Well, no. I just ran an 8-week cycle of it, so I came off.
And what benefits do you see?
None, except I got super dehydrated.
What's the point then?
I don't know, dude.
All right, guys, with test suspension, there's thicker crystals in here. This video's live. There is a 50-50 chance this will clog. I'll have to change needles and shoot it again. I'm going to put the hot water on. I'm running it under hot water. As you see, I have my synthol syringes right here, which I'll be shooting next. I leave a little air at the top, so when I shoot in my bicep, there's air at the top. People are like, oh my God, air bubbles. Guys, when you're an inch deep in your bicep, there's no vein. You're not going to be in a vein. You'll be fine. Where your news, when you go in and you push, you're pushing the air through, so everything clears the needle. So you only leave a little bit of air left in there, so it pushes all the compounds that you're shooting, all the crystals, and you're not wasting any of what you're shooting. I'm big on no waste. So as this starts to warm up, I'm going to run it through. Get the crystals nice and warm. Shake it. Like I said, guys, this may clog, and I may have to shoot it again. I like to put it up like this. You see how it clogged? I'm going to aspirate. Usually sometimes it'll push in, it'll pull some of the chemicals, and it'll continue to push through. As you can see, it's slowly pushing in. This is probably the biggest thing, the biggest pain in the ass to shoot, actually. I'm going to come down here. It's clogged. I'm going to keep trying, though. Pull back. And it pushed through, guys. So with my magic, playing with it, there's going to be a little bit left. I'm going to pull back again and push through. That's basically it. And you'll see I'll pull out. You'll see, I'm going to see if you can. I'm weird, guys. I don't like to waste anything. I'm going to pull out. Turn this off. You're going to see it's a little bit of a little dot. I'm going to massage it. Like I said, I'm going to fill this drug within an hour. Probably get a little horny. And that's good to go.
You say something about a gay for pay site that you're running now. What is the premise of it?
I mean, it's anything. Females could sign up, males could sign up. You could jack off on camera. You could do whatever the hell you want on camera. It doesn't matter. I have a big following of bodybuilders, and a lot of them would love to, instead of working a 9 to 5, do gay shit on camera. Yeah. I mean, I would rather masturbate on camera than work a 9 to 5.
Would you do that if you needed the money?
Oh yeah, I would rather do that than work a 9 to 5, 100%.
Okay.
I mean, back in your bodybuilding day, would you rather do that?
No, I probably wouldn't have done that. But I always had a way of making money in terms of, doing seminars, and back then supplement contracts were big. So I wasn't desperate. I don't know. I never got to the desperate.
I have a dick picture on the internet right now, and I sent it to a guy.
Why did you hold on? Why did you send a picture of your penis to a guy?
I used to always send dick pictures to my guy friends, like out of the shower when I look my best, like, hey, what's up?
Some people would construe that as being, a little gay, wouldn't you think?
Oh yeah, they would construe that as hella gay. But my friends are my good friends. They laugh. They'll send the same pictures back, like, bro, how do you think I look? That's just bodybuilding. I always resort back to experimenting. But I'll tell you what, I'm 27 now. When I used to do crazy high dosages from 20 to 21 to 23 was when I really pushed crazy gear. That was
what do you consider crazy?
Dude, like for my 2015 show where I looked like shit. I ran the most gear I've ever ran. I worked up to 25 cc's at the very end. This is how sickening this is to even say this. 25 cc's a day of just gear, dude. What? Steroids, and I'm talking about that includes like painful water-based, like test suspension, trend suspension, water-based Winnie. I mean, dude, like I was doing like 3 cc's of Primo a day, 3 cc's of Trend a day, 3 cc's Masteron. I mean, dude, it got to. I remember it got to the point where I was using the 6 cc syringes. And I was loading like 12 cc's into each glute for like a little bit. And my glutes were so inflamed. Yeah. And just to get out of the house, dude, I was in so much pain. And I didn't look good either. Just to get out of the house, I had to take like, it was 2 Tylenol and like 5 ibuprofen every like 4 hours. Cool. That was just to get out of the house to train, dude. Let alone I couldn't tie my shoes. I was so sore. And then on the worst part, dude, is I was so weak in the gym, and I think it was because I was so hammered with all this oil. Dude, I was like squatting like the 25s on each side, like a couple weeks out, like struggling. Dude, it was a mess. But like I said, man, and like that gear too that I used was like really quality. Like we had it tested. I want to try those dick rings though. I guess you put those. It makes you last longer because I have a problem. I don't know if it's the drugs, but Dave, I'm a 2-pump chumper, man. I don't know. I can't last.
You might be on a little bit too many drugs. That could be a problem.
Yeah, like I need to figure something out.
You got to put like 3 condoms on to desensitize, a little bit.
I used to jack off with condoms. It was actually kind of expensive because I didn't want to clean up everywhere. I used to steal condoms from the 99-cent store when I was like 16.
Boston's got these great ideas. You see, who would think of this stuff? That's a creative thinker for you, Boston.
And then Dave, I started then I was like, fuck this. I didn't want to get caught stealing, right? So I used to come in my socks.
Your
and
poor
my
mom.
mom caught me. She was like, "Why is there socks on top of the fucking on top of the?" Because I wouldn't use them again. I would just throw them. You know, I'd come in them and I would throw them on top of my bed frame. She was like, "Why are all these crusty ass socks?" Or then
Couldn't you throw them in the garbage?
She was like, "Why is there?" She was like, "Son, why is there fingerprints in the Vaseline?" I would just scoop out Vaseline before I jacked off. But yeah, man, it was funny. Me and my mom have a weird relationship because like she's
Tyler's
taught me
hysterical
like,
over here.
everything, like dumb shit. Like I used to walk around with condoms on and then they would fall off. And then like she would find them on the ground. She was like, "You can't just walk around with condoms on." And I just didn't know. You know what I mean?
You can't write this stuff, really. I mean.
But yeah, that'll be a good ending to a phase. But yeah, maybe
Yeah.
get me and Big Lenny on here. We could fucking talk about how smaller dicks.